Hello, and welcome to Shite Talk, an Irish history podcast. It's just Jason doing the intro this week. Kev's off on holidays to Cork. You can probably tell it's me, or maybe you can't. New listeners can't tell the difference. I'm the handsome one. And then lowly Kevin, he just has all the smarts. And then luckily enough this week we're actually joined by someone who brought all the funny. So it's like the trifecta. This week we had a whole podcast. We got joined by Gareth Reynolds of the Dollop, the podcast we stole the idea of this show from, which he was nice enough to look the other way of. And he was a great guest. And Gareth is coming over to Dublin to do his stand-up show in the Sugar Club on September 17th. And the tickets to that will be in the link in the description of this podcast, and we'll be sharing it all over social media. So go check that out, buy tickets. You'll probably see us there. So that's a good reason to go, as well as seeing Gareth because he's class, as you'll find by listening to this episode. What isn't class in this episode, and also to roll back a little bit on what I said earlier about Kevin being smart, I let him record all of the audio for the podcast for the first time ever. I think episode you might be able to pick out one or two little parts where I had to retake stuff afterwards and put it in. Maybe you can't, it's only 1 or 2 or 25, but that's just for the first few minutes. So don't even, you know what, it's actually fun. It's a fun like Where's Wally or Waldo. But to recap, go follow Gareth online or go look at his stand-up show in the Sugar Club on September 17th. And Shafter, good luck. We'll chat to you next week.
Gather around now, you're in for a story. Old tales of lore, all in search of a glory. The history and mystery of lads, lasses and all. Discoveries and voyages, the rise and the fall. Follow me now as we go back in time. We trace the steps of Irish lineage to find. Joseph from Carlo and Kevin from Doll. Guide you through the ways of Shite.
So, well, thanks for coming on, Gareth.
Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been an honor. We've been living. We stole your idea for a podcast basically 5 years ago.
It's okay.
What if we made it Irish?
Yeah, which is how like everyone in Ireland does everything. As long as something's successful in America, then we'll just do it 10 years afterwards and a more half-assed version of it.
That's happened in a few ways with our show. And I mean, that just happens. We actually have a Mexican version of the Dollop called El Dollop, but
yes.
Oh, can you speak Spanish?
No. It's done by two guys who do, though, thank God. Otherwise, it would be really bad.
It's not just the 1 week of the year you put out the sombreros and the fake mustaches.
Yeah. We're like, why isn't this doing well there?
So some people have referred to this as the McDollop. Well, one guy just left a review that just said McDollop, which I assumed was it's a compliment, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, we were looking for something to do. I was looking into your hometown, which the heritage of your hometown. It kept saying there was a lot of Irish settlers. And that was where the connection ended. There's nothing. It just kept saying there was a lot of them and Germans, and then
they settled. They settled. That was it. And really, when you live in Milwaukee, most people have settled.
Yeah,
they've just been like, all right, fuck it. I don't want to go anywhere else.
Which is true. Because all these guys got there like 200 years ago and then did nothing. They were just.
Well, yeah, but I mean, imagine them. They were just like, oh, we're fucking tight. They were just like, this'll do. This'll do.
That's true. That's fair. So we went back instead and got one of your early episodes, episode 51, about Michael Malloy, Iron Mike, an Irish
hero,
a hero,
a legend.
Now, Jason, you don't know anything about him yet.
No, I'm going in blind.
You will love him by the end of this, but I was re-listening to.
You're paranoid because I usually do all the tech stuff. I can't see if that thing's recording. I'm just trusting Kevin, which is a bad. It's a big red light.
Yeah.
What a dynamic we have.
Yeah, Dave and I have a very similar one, except I'm always the one who's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You swear
it's great.
Recording?
It's basically like the Dollop, except both of us are as like the you of the show. We need someone.
That is not a good combination.
We need someone to come in and take command of this thing.
That is not good. That is bad.
We also have a cat that's walking around somewhere, but maybe she'll make an appearance.
All right, that's all you need. That's pretty much the
I don't
dollar.
know. Yeah. We went wholesale on the ripoff, but
Oh, good.
was
Good,
all right.
smart.
This guy, Mike Malloy, all right, he's born in 1873 in Donegal, or as Dave would pronounce it, Donegal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not even going to start into the mispronunciations and stuff because straight away, as soon as I was listening back to your version, I was like, oh, they got Donegal wrong. And then every single name when I wrote this story, I was like, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. So,
Yeah.
But so Michael Malloy, right? He moved to America at some point. We don't know much about his early life, but we know he was in New York City in the early 1930s. And not much is known about him even at that stage, other than that he was probably homeless. He'd worked a load of odd jobs, including street cleaner, coffin polisher, porter, and fireman.
It's tough to pay New York rent on those jobs.
Yeah. No, that's still what people are doing. Yeah.
I feel like fireman's a little different than like, because he was just like, hey, he just did odd. I don't know if you can do fireman as an odd job.
Yeah, this is the
Back
old
then-
fireman.
Yeah, back then it was like you were like a volunteer basically. But it would be
Yeah.
strange if you like lost someone in a fire and then you were polishing their coffin and you're like, hey, that guy.
Oh,
that
shit,
guy,
oops.
yeah,
I
that
got
guy
out of
died
the
like
right
3
business.
days ago. Yeah. I saw him die.
I suppose the only requisites for the job is that you know water beats fire. Once you have
Yeah.
that, you're pretty much sorted.
Which I've
Oh.
actually, a lot of people in this country are starting to doubt finally that there's a movement.
But you know, right? So he's not one of these men who's defined by his jobs. He's done a lot of things. First and foremost, he's an alcoholic. That's his main thing. And to be honest, like based on how little is known about him, I don't even think there's much evidence that he is Irish, other than he's a drunk.
Well, his porter, not his job title. It's just his favorite drink.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
Porter by job, porter by nature.
Yeah.
But because all the stuff that you read about him is like no one knows where he came from. Some say Donegal. I think he was just an alcoholic in his 50s, and they were like, well, obviously,
We
all
still
know
do
where
that
he came
over
from.
here. We're like,
Yeah,
that guy's so drunk, he's got to be Irish.
It's shorthand. What have we got? We fucking ask everybody where they're from, their backstory. Who's got the time? You know, you got to
Yeah.
speed this stuff along. So we know that he's a drunk, and we know that he's in New York during the Great Depression, which is as grim as it sounds. But luckily, you know, there's also prohibition, so you can't drink yourself away. Which, I mean, for an Irishman to have escaped whatever tragedies were happening in Ireland in the 1800s and sail across to the new promised land, and then to find out that you can't buy a drink.
To be somewhere during the Great Depression and not have alcohol,
Yeah.
it was like it really showed the country was really like, yeah, we actually do need to drink
Oh, sure.
because this is so bad. We need to escape.
I mean, the future generations will probably look back at this last decade of 2 global recessions and a pandemic and be like, they didn't even have heroin back then in the old days. They just
Yeah.
had to,
Yeah,
they just had to brave it. But so yeah, so prohibition ends in 1933, so he was there just for the end of that. But luckily, there are speakeasies where a man can have a pint, and one such spot was run by a 27-year-old man called Tony Marino. So I was trying to find the name of the bar that they were in, but I guess that I kind of forgot that that's how speakeasies work. It wouldn't really work if the place had like a market.
Yeah, you probably couldn't be like, yeah.
I was looking at pictures. It's like, what was it called? Was it oh no, it's hidden behind the creative boxes.
Well, no, because they're in Dublin now, and you can still find lists of like the top 5 Dublin speakeasies.
Yeah. I forgot.
Why do you
that.
have a speakeasy there?
Because it's trendy. It's really fun to
So
hide
it's
your
like-
bar so that people can't find it.
We saw America had them, and we wanted one.
There you go.
A long time ago, though. You guys like, it's a new trend.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We're always a little bit behind, though. We only got Friends last week.
Cannot wait to see what happens with
Buckle up.
Ross and Gunter.
Whoa, boy. I don't even want to tell you. It ends graphically.
You've got a roller coaster ahead of you.
Yeah, get ready.
So, well, we do know it's in the Bronx somewhere. It's on 3rd Avenue. And we do also know that it was a real dump of a place. It's 4 tables. There's a bar on one side and a toilet behind a bead curtain. Call me old-fashioned, but
Always bad.
I like a door. I mean, even if I have one criticism of America,
There's only
what's up
one that's
with-
valid.
What's up with your public toilet doors? There's like a good 2 inches on every side.
What do you mean? What? Give me the
If you-
exact complaint.
If you go to a bathroom in like any public area, there's about yay big between the bottom of the floor and the bottom
Yeah,
of the door.
I don't get it either.
We're
I don't
very
get that.
secretive here. We have like locks and doors and padlocks.
Okay,
and stuff.
all right. Allow me to patriotically push back. What's with the no urinal blocks? You guys just enjoy letting your fucking cocks hang out in a trough together.
Because we have the respect not to look.
Fair, but I would say we've taken those, like, that foot that we've left there, and we've at least partitioned our
You've
cocks.
partitioned. Well,
we use that to partition.
Yeah, but you don't have the simple pleasure of going into a trough and starting to relieve yourself on one end and running along to the other end.
There is something pleasurable about watching the physics of urine work.
And if you can beat your own piss, the bar will give you a free pint.
That's true. Now, the pint is of said piss, but
I think that piss runs down a drain right back to the tap.
yeah. But so there's an undertaker by the name of Francis Pasqua, which is the first name that I'm getting wrong in this. But he brought Malloy around to Marino's. I guess he probably met him through the coffin polishing job.
Sure.
At some stage, he introduces him to Marino's place. And Marino started having Malloy work around the bar, sweeping floors, stocking shelves, that sort of thing. And a lot of time, Malloy would just ask to get paid straight away and drink, which is good. It's kind of like, people are pushing back against, like, I don't need an app to buy a cup of coffee, pal. He's like, why even bring money into this? You give me money.
It's like early Bitcoin.
Yeah,
we're taking it away from the system.
Does he think that's what barter means?
Back in the barter system, we just put the barter in my mouth. Yeah. So at some point in July of 1932, and this is where the story begins, Tony Marino, the owner of the bar, Francis Pasqua, the undertaker, and a friend of theirs, Daniel Kreisberg, they get to talking about Malloy. Business is bad for old Marino. It's the global depression times. He's running a shitty speakeasy. A lot of his customers have huge tabs that they probably can't pay. And one of the worst is Malloy. All right? So they figure Malloy's, he's an old man. He's probably in his early 60s at this point.
Wait, how does he have such a big tab? He's working there.
Yeah, but what do you mean? You work, and we work in a bar, and we drink there all the time.
That's fair.
Yeah. He can. I'm assuming he's not doing
How is that
good
possible?
work.
Think about your life. Okay. All right.
Perspective's a great thing. Looking at it from the exact same perspective.
Yeah, I can almost understand.
Yeah, it's not even putting yourself in someone else's shoes. It's putting yourself in your shoes.
Yeah, just look down at your own shoes.
Yeah, have a look at your shoes.
But, so, yeah, well, they reckon the old man, he's on death's door. He's in his early 60s. It's the 1930s. He's living rough. They may as well benefit from it. So Pasqua floats the idea. Maybe they take an insurance policy out of Malloy and just wait till he drinks himself to death. So while they're having this conversation, it's probably helped along by the fact that Malloy is passed out drunk on the floor at the time, as he apparently usually was at the end of his shift.
Yeah.
I don't know if this man is doing enough cleaning to knock off the debt of the drink.
Well, also, if you walk into the speakeasy, you're like, man, your customers get drunk. And he's like, that's actually my bar back.
Yeah. Malloy, where's the floor polish? Yeah, funny thing about that, we ran out again. 4th day in a row. So when Malloy comes to, the three men, they suggest to him, it's a dangerous world out there. Maybe you should get an insurance policy. Malloy says, hey, why not? So they walk him over to Credential Insurance and get him set up. A few days after that, they walk him over to Metropolitan Insurance, which I learned from your podcast the other day. Those are still insurance companies.
That's horrible.
That is
terrible news.
When we get to the end of this story, it seems insane that either of them are still in business. It seems weird that they were in business by
Well,
then.
you'll find there are multiple companies where we'll do an episode on them, and I'm like, that's like one of the biggest banks in this country. Still.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, yeah.
I was down in Cork the other day, and we did a story about Marconi, like the guy who invented transatlantic conversation and all that sort of stuff. He had set up a radio tower down in the west of Cork, because it was the first point that boats would pass when they're coming back from the States, and they get news from there and then wire it over to London. And one of the guys who set up his business there was a man called Reuters, who's now like,
oh wow,
but just by being some guy 150 years ago who put his outpost a little further away than everyone else is, so he got the news an hour before everyone. Now he's like one of the biggest news players in the world. A dynasty. But anyway, if only we could have done something.
But now, did you say they took out 2 separate insurance?
Yeah, actually 3. Well, okay. Well, this is the first bit. They
It's
go
a-
to the 2 different places to try and get them set up.
Yeah, they're like, he can't sign this contract. He's drunk. Oh, let me tell you, if you think this is drunk,
Well,
Yeah.
So both policies end up coming back rejected because the men are not related to Malloy in any way. So they put them all through, and then it comes back a few days later rejected. So next time they figure, let's just leave Malloy out of it. So they set a policy up under a fake name of Nicholas Melroy, which I don't really understand why they bothered to do this, but they bring in another man into the conspiracy. So now you're up to 4. Joseph Red Murphy, who is a barman with Marino. He plays the role of Malloy's brother for the scam. So they go back to Metropolitan and they take out an $800 policy. The agent...
They go back to a place, like the agent at the place, like, did you guys just come in here a couple days ago with a guy that was so drunk? Like, yeah, you're right. That was wrong of us. So there's a new guy and he's not here. But this is his brother.
if we had known about him before, we would have never tried this already.
Malloy? No, wait.
Oh,
is
yeah.
Malloy.
We learned so much 2 days ago. First of all, thank you for that lesson. Also, still looking to crack one open.
Yeah, I see. You still have the paperwork from the first one. Let's just scratch out Malloy, put in Malloy. Let's
Yeah,
just
we
keep this
just
ball
we
rolling.
actually we just changed the last name a little bit and then crossed
Yeah,
out
yeah.
the first. I think we're pretty good to go on our
Oh,
end. I don't
the
know
rest
what
of the
was the
deals are the
holdup
same.
is over here.
Well, now the agent later on would say that it was suspicious that the person being insured wasn't present during the insurance policy, but he took
Just
the word
such a
for
different time. There's
they-
no rule against that.
it. But it seems weird that when he was there, they're like, "Oh, you're not related to these men, so it seems suspicious." And then 2 days later, when he wasn't there, they're like, "Well, this is fine."
Yeah.
It's just the first person to like have the idea, like the first person who like thought of like, let's rob a bank.
Yeah, like someone was at the bank just like, wait, but that's not your money.
No, but it's all insured by the bank, so you know you're not going to risk your life for it, are you?
Yeah. Well, we talk about firsts all the time. There's always the first. It's just these ideas, like the Reuters guy. It's just it's never.
Yeah.
There's so many. Like you're so envious of these times in history where someone was just like, "What if I just tell this guy I could talk to ghosts, charge him for it?" And you're just like, "Well, there you go. That'll work for 10 fucking years."
Yeah, I could fix your back.
Yeah, right.
You just
Yeah,
have
exactly.
to keep
Like,
coming back to me.
yeah, just keep coming back here. We got you.
So then they take out 2 more policies. So they go back to credential as well. So between the 3 policies they have on Nicholas Melloy, they're worth about $3,500, which is about $8,000 today. Or sorry, $80,000.
If it was $8,000, that'd be amazing.
You know, the inflation's gone wild. Money is almost worth twice as much as it was 100 years ago.
8,000.
Well, now I'm getting paranoid about this thing. Did you check your mic was working at the start?
Oh, you're a fuck.
Which one did you plug this into? You speak into your mics there.
This is great to watch 2 Gareths. Well, why can I hear you if it's not working? It's just not recording into your Zoom?
Yeah, it wasn't recording into the Zoom. So Kevin's mic will. So I'll still have caught.
It'll be okay.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
The AI technology that's out there.
the AI will save us all.
Yeah, AI, like, hey, I forgot to plug this in.
Like, hey, I shouldn't have. All right. This is
Hey,
beautiful.
I fucked up.
Are they both working now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And we're only,
Wonderful. Right. So, well, we've gotten to the point where the story is set up. The policy is set up.
Yeah.
They've got 3 policies out in Malloy. They just need the Malloy. So Marino calls him over the next time he's in the bar and starts talking about the speakeasy market's a competitive market these days. They don't want their customers getting called into somewhere else, and they want to treat their regulars right. So he forgives Malloy's tab, wipes it clean. But not only that, he says Malloy, he can drink for free now.
okay.
So Malloy, being the sort of suspicious Donegal man that he is,
Oh, I see what's happening. They felt guilty about talking
right.
shit out about him when he was asleep.
That's right.
that's probably what it is. That's probably what he's like. I'm the 100th customer today.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A balloon?
So now you got an insurance policy on a 60-year-old drunk Irish man being split between 4 men. It's only a matter of time. But the old boy can handle himself. So he takes full advantage of the free drink for the day. It doesn't really seem to slow him down. At the end of the day, he bids them all a good night and he heads off. Only to come back in the next day and start again.
But
So he's like the oldest, like sickliest looking guy they can find, and they're just like, "Here you go, drink whiskey for the day." They're like, "We're surely this will be the end of Malloy."
But don't they know that this is what he's been doing?
Yeah, but not free reign. He's only
This-
been like skimping and
Okay.
This part of it is very. You're just like, okay, good job. Like he was like, fucking hell,
yeah.
I've got friends.
That was a fucking dream come true. He doesn't
Yeah,
even
it
question
is.
it. It's
Yeah.
like, what? This shitty dive bar.
While
This
it was
is-
happening, he probably thought, I'm passed out on the floor of the bar. This must be like a dream.
Yeah. While it was happening, he probably thought, about time.
I like to think
Yeah,
it's,
he was. Yeah, he's
it's
like,
his Rocky
finally.
moment.
Finally.
He's like,
Yeah, finally.
everyone thinks he can't really handle his drink. He's just he's
Yeah,
broke
yeah.
down on his luck. He's like, "Nah, just give me one chance. Give me a shot at the
He's like trying to
I'll
run
fight
up the
any man.
stairs, but falls and shatters his teeth. Jesus, Rocky.
But
This was Mickey.
he came back in the next day.
Right.
This goes on for like 4 days. So each day he goes in, he starts with like a big like he's in there early morning, and he starts with a big toast to his new friends and how sound they are for the free drink. And they're just laying in. So like these guys are hemorrhaging money because they've bought all these whiskeys and spirits to try and kill him, and he's drank them dry for like 4 days. So after the 4th day, Murphy he suggests they start using wood alcohol, which is I think pure methanol.
Mm-hmm.
So this is being used to like beef up drinks during the Prohibition era to give them an extra kick. But this is the kind of stereotype of like 4 to 5% of it in a thing could make you blind. You know,
Yeah.
they're making moonshine to like
Like
check.
Everclear.
Yeah, so this is
Yeah, right.
This is the stuff like this could kill a man, kill a regular man. But they start off, giving Malloy regular measures, and over the day they're slowly mixing in more and more wood alcohol, which again, like 4% can turn a man blind.
What could 5%?
They're giving him by the end of it.
Malloy's
100
having a great time.
Just straight. You can only go blind twice. He's got 2 eyes. But they're giving him straight wood alcohol and like challenging him to drinking contests so he'll drink more. And he's drinking all day, going off, coming back in the next day at like 11 a.m. going, all right, boys,
Shocking.
we still good?
They must be like, they were probably like, I think he's made of wood. That's the only thing that makes sense. This guy has to be a wood man.
You're just lubricating him. He grows stronger.
Yeah. He's like Groot.
Yeah.
He comes in the next day with a thick layer of varnish.
Yeah, I've never felt better.
He's sleeping on himself.
He's the most tan Irishman in America.
Yeah.
Well, so right, but he's not immortal, and one day he finally starts showing it. He's slurring his words, his legs are buckling, and he collapses on the ground. And the lads are standing around. They're like, admittedly, he lasted a lot longer than anyone thought, but it's been about 2 weeks now. Obviously, we're going to get him. And he's lying on the floor, and his breath's getting ragged, and they can see he's just sawing away. And then slowly, finally, it just turns into a snore, and he's asleep. He's asleep on the floor.
Which is usually why I don't know what they were like. This is
Which-
like his natural.
see that
He
How many
does
times?
all the time. Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
his breath was getting real raspy, and they were like coming to terms with what they've done, and he's just fucking snoring on the ground. And he wakes up,
Very comedic.
thanks them for another good day, and heads off.
Oh boy, you are my best friends.
Oh, if ever, well, how could a man get so lucky in this world, I ask you?
Yeah.
Well-
He's a scarecrow.
If there's ever anything you need me to do,
You let me.
sign something
let
or
me.
something nice, easy, simple.
So,
By the way, that whiskey's got a good flavor.
yeah.
Very oaky.
He
no
can't
key one.
drink. He can't drink anywhere else now because he just has fallen in love with this stuff. The regular stuff doesn't do it for me anymore.
Yeah, right.
But they're right. So they're trying everything now. They're throwing stuff at him. Marino decided to try and add a little bit of antifreeze to his drinks. But apparently ethanol blocks the absorption of ethylene glycol in the liver. I'm saying a lot of things here as if I know what I'm talking about. Basically, they reckon that because of how much drink he was taking, antifreeze just wasn't being absorbed.
Oh, okay.
Who knows? He's drinking
It
turpentine.
just- it sounds like the way that like the origin story of a Batman villain, but there's like 3 different drinking antifreeze and being okay.
It's got to be the greatest Batman villain of all time, the Scourge
Oh,
of the
yeah,
Underworld.
yeah.
To have that superpower and not know.
Yeah.
He just collapses.
He's
Drink.
unaware of this.
Yeah, that's true,
Yeah.
actually. He doesn't even think.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
he probably doesn't want to question anything because this is the luckiest streak he's ever had in his life. He's like, what am I going to
But I
fucking go
think-
home and start examining this gift horse? No, thank you.
Yeah, but what you were saying before too is like he probably was like, finally, like,
Yeah.
people are starting to get him. Like he's like, yeah, they understand my charm.
My,
The
old,
world
Worm
horrible.
is turned.
my mother back
Yeah.
in the old country, she said, just be yourself, Malloy. Just be
Yeah.
yourself and they'll
And
follow.
I finally found my people.
I paid my dues.
Here I am now. The
they
real
they
Malloy.
see the light inside of me.
The real Malloy.
While his heart varnishes.
Yeah. So, they're right. So this is going on for weeks now. They're throwing all these drinks at him. It's not doing anything. When Pasqua, he says that he once saw a man die after mixing oysters with wood alcohol. So they give that a go. I don't really understand why they think him eating it is going to be any different. Like, he's drinking this stuff for fun at this point, but there's something about how the oysters will absorb it and then release it in his stomach. So they soak some oysters.
I love that it's like a decadent meal too. It's like,
Yeah.
like they're like running out of pocket money, but they're just like, all right, listen, we just got to get like 20 oysters. It'll be about $80.
We'll talk about the money in a little bit, but like every part of this story, this was supposed to happen for like, they initially thought it would take a day. Like they were expecting him to die on the first day, and now they've spent like 2 weeks on alcohol that like Malloy level alcohol.
But they're giving him wood varnish.
Yeah, but wood varnish after a while it's
Suppose
not
it's
cheap.
expensive,
All of a
yeah.
sudden they're buying fucking oysters. Like,
Yeah.
he's like soaking
And
in some
antifreeze.
caviar.
They didn't have
And
a budget.
antifreeze.
Their budget was like this bottle of whiskey, and now they're like, all right, look, let's pool our money together a little
Yeah.
bit more.
And they're like, let's get him the good oysters. He deserves at least that.
Yeah,
Let's-
we're gonna.
let's
Yeah,
go
listen.
down
I
the
mean,
scene.
yeah.
So they soaked them for days, and apparently, like, so there's other customers. There's reports from them at the time, like the place smelled like a chemical factory because they're just pouring wood, like it's like paint thinner. And they're like soaking
paint
oysters.
thinner
in
and oysters. It's like,
It's
man,
just-
you're fucking speakeasy. What's going on at your speakeasy?
it. I mean, I know it's rough
It's a
times, it's a
fusion.
prohibition, but come on, could you at least open
Yeah.
a window?
Yeah, honestly.
Which probably also explains how some of these plans go as well, because these guys are just standing in like paint thinner fumes for days on end. But anyway, Malloy eats his oysters, knocks them all back with his wood alcohol, and stumbles off into the night. Comes back in the next day looking for more.
Oysters specifically.
Yeah, because now the oysters are part of the thing. It's part of the kick. He's like, of course,
Yeah.
the alcohol's
Boy,
still
I found
free.
my people. These guys love me for me.
Tomorrow I'm asking for a steak.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
well,
right.
This is a dive bar, but it still has a bit of class. Apparently, there's a food
Sure.
tray at the end of the bar, and the lads know from watching Malloy that he's a sucker for a sardine sandwich. Apparently, that's all. Before the oysters, it's all he was eating. So they set one up for him. They put some shredded tin, carpet tacks, and broken glass into this sardine sandwich.
No, the escalation here is wild.
But
I
it's
mean,
like-
they were like,
Relatively
gone from-
clever earlier.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly. Yeah, now it's like Three Stooge territory. where
Yeah.
It's like, we'll just put the tin of sardines in the sandwich too.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a gun in a sandwich.
Let's light some dynamite and he'll swallow
Yeah.
it and his tummy will explode.
Guys, I've got a great idea. I've just painted a tunnel on the
It
outside of the
actually
bar.
it's becoming very much Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote already.
Oh yeah. Well, this is what I meant by I think like these guys are now standing in like a paint thinner fume box days on end,
Yeah.
watching a man drink. When I think they're going nuts.
Yeah, right.
Like it's messing with their heads.
A better version of Waiting for Godot.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
maybe, yeah.
yeah.
Becca couldn't write this magic.
No.
But so they hand it to Malloy. And I just love picturing each one of these scenes that they're all just waiting around in silence watching Malloy chew a glass
Yeah.
sandwich.
What are we doing? We're waiting for him to go.
He just burps and goes, "That's pretty good." If you got
I'll
another
have a
one.
second.
Yeah, in a second.
Oh, another one.
And also, these things
Are you boys not going to dip into these? I'll have another one. Looking at him like, boy, you guys are suckers.
but the expenses are now getting exponential because obviously, like now the next day, it's not only free drink, They got to give him his oysters. They got to give him his sardine sandwich, and he's gotten used to the glassy crunch.
Yeah. He was. Are there no sandwiches? It's like, this motherfucker should have been dead 19 days ago.
There's no tin in this one.
This one's not as crunchy.
But so now it's looking obvious that nothing's going to kill Iron Mike.
I realised there I'd caught myself a minute ago that I was doing like an American Irish accent instead of just doing. Instead of
dumbing it down
talking
for me
as an Irishman. I could have just done my accent. We don't even know where this guy's from.
My Irish accent's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm Irish.
Both my parents are Irish. Like I should have picked it up.
Weird. I should have that.
He's what's a Donegal accent like? Oh no.
No,
I'm Daniel.
It doesn't matter so much how you talk. Just end every word with hi.
Hi. But you get real soft. Real soft spoken because you're up in the hills.
You're just doing Daniel.
It's Daniel. That's what it is. Yeah, but I'm just Malloy. Could I trouble you for another shot of that wood and a nice wee sardine sandwich?
Could I have another one of those little off whiskies and another crunchy sandwich?
So now he's starting to get like he's getting a name for himself around the bar. He's Iron Mike. This guy's got a load of nicknames that I think the press mostly come up with later. But so they're starting to figure Iron Mike, he's not going to get killed by any run-of-the-mill drink spiking sardine sandwich bush league nonsense. Mm-hmm. And the guys are getting worried that they need to kill him before the insurance policies run out, which they're also paying premiums on.
How long did they buy the insurance policy for? Like 3 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know.
They were probably like, the person was probably like, you want to do 3 weeks? They're like, 2 days. Two days is probably going to be fine, honestly.
What's the least suspicious amount we can say? I don't know, like whatever the legal limit is. But so Tony Marino, he's got one last idea. He remembers he used to have a girlfriend called Mabel Carlson. She was a hairdresser from Washington, D.C., and she'd been found dead mysteriously while sleeping underneath an open window on a very cold night. Now, that open window did happen to be in Tony Marino's house, and he did also happen to have an insurance policy on her, but he forgot about that. So
the other guys are probably like, Jesus, Tony's. I mean, we're all psychotic, but Tony's like fucking out of his tits.
But also, why didn't you mention this fucking 2 months ago before we spent all our money on oysters, Tony?
Because it was his plan to how to get rid of the two boys once he off
Yeah.
Yeah, like as soon as Malloy's dead, he just hands one of them a wood alcohol.
He's like, hey, a toast to I love when a plan comes together. Let's get some of these finger sandwiches, boys. Come on, get them all the nice and tinny. Sardini. Sorry, what did I say? Tin? That's crazy.
So on an extremely cold night, they get Malloy drinking even earlier than usual. They wait till he passes out, and they take him out. They take off his shirt, and they dump him in the snow and pour 5 gallons of water over him.
It's so funny to go from like, one time my girlfriend fell asleep under a window when it was cold to be like, let's get him out in the snow, take his shirt off, and pour a bunch of water on him.
Because they have to.
They know who they're dealing with.
Yeah,
they know who they're dealing. They're like, listen, a window's not going to kill this motherfucker.
I see where you're going with this.
When I worded
5 gallons of ice cold water.
Yeah, let's throw him in a lake.
Just for our European listeners, it's 5 US gallons. That's 19 good old European liters here. I mean, it doesn't really make a difference, but
wow.
When Marino comes in the next morning, he's it's bittersweet, I guess. I mean, the job's done finally. But they've killed him.
Wait, so he was out in the snow. They went out and threw 5 gallons of water on him.
Yeah.
He woke up and he's like, "Fuck it, I'm sober. Never again."
Marino comes in and opens up the bar, and he finds Malloy asleep on the floor. So Malloy, I think the antifreeze had saved them.
They probably were like, "Are there 2 of him?"
Yeah.
It's the Irish prestige.
But this is my they keep killing them.
How do you do this trick, you son of a bitch?
But this is my favorite part of the story, is just how naive or earnest Malloy is. So like Marino comes in and he's shocked to see this guy that they tried to kill, and Malloy starts telling him, he's like, you won't believe what happened to me, man. It's crazy. The last thing I remember, I was drinking in here with my best friends in the whole wide world. Next thing, I'm waking up topless in a freezing cold snow pot. What am I like? I'm going to need a double this morning, pal.
I can't hold my wood grain alcohol, I guess.
But it's also like so he'd stumble back there that night because it's like the only place that he felt safe.
He's like, I was so cold, I was shitting tin.
Yeah. I'm gonna need a big sarnie sandwich and 2 shots, my best friend.
I'm gonna give me one of them crunchy fish sandwiches.
But it's like
and he's like a dog. The fact that he like goes to sleep on the floor like a dog who's like,
yeah, because
like,
I think
they have couches.
Yeah, but I think Marino slept on the couch as well. I think maybe he slept there too. I don't know.
But he's just like, I didn't know what to do, so I came to my best friend's bar.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the only place where I feel safe.
Yeah.
But but now the lads are panicking. Okay, because initially the initial plan is neat. You know, you poison a man, you poison an alcoholic with alcohol. All wrapped up in a bow. It's like Ocean's 11. This is getting messy. It's like Ocean's 8. All right, it's getting out of control. They're freezing guys. There's no sign of anything stopping. So enter a man, my favorite character in the story, just name-wise, a man called Tony Bistroni, a.k.a. Tough Tony. So
he doesn't need a nickname.
He needs a nickname because no one wants to be called Tony Bistroni.
Tony Pastroni.
He's Tough Tony to you.
Yeah.
So Tony hears about their problem, and he offers to have Malloy whacked. Now, he probably said killed, but I've added in a bit of spice there.
The idea that now they're like, are we seriously getting a fucking hitman? Like, we just tried to get him drunk to death, and now we are like getting a hitman.
That's what they always say. You're better off just paying the professionals.
That's
bring them in the long run. Yeah. And what if he was just like, we're gonna put some oysters in poison? Like, no, we've done that. We did that. We did that.
Yeah. Aren't you reading the memos? Come on. That's fucking...
We shot him in the head. He's okay.
Yeah.
We think he's part steel.
Has anyone thought about just covering his mouth?
Well, no, that's a little crass, undignified.
Yeah.
Tony, he's got he does suggest just shooting them, but they still need it to look like an accident for the insurance.
But and I get that for the shooting thing.
Yeah.
But if they're like, there'll be antifreeze in his body.
Yeah.
There's going to be he has about 5
Not a
pounds
bad
of
idea.
tin inside of him.
It's not not
a bad idea.
But you're forgetting. That
Imagine the like coroner. He'd be like, I'm not sure what he died of. He is full of wood grain alcohol.
Yeah.
There's antifreeze in his liver, and it looks like he ate shrapnel.
Yeah.
He's like a 16-year-old's woodshop class.
Yeah. He's like a wind chime.
Well, you're coming at this with the benefit of hindsight and 100 years of watching CSI. You haven't thought these guys have been living in a fume-filled bar for weeks on end.
Yeah, this
is
oyster ether helping.
Yeah. They're probably eating the sardine sandwiches themselves at this point, being like, this. He seems to like them.
I have a feeling he's been dead for 2 weeks, but they're so fun.
They're just seeing shit. Yeah. Well,
he's been huffing fumes for weeks.
Well, tough Tony. He this is a 2-man job. He recognizes, so he shops it out to another wise guy called Joseph Maglione. And he suggests that he knows a guy with a taxi.
Joey Maglione.
I love it. This is escalating in terms of people as well, because you start off with like it's a 3-man conspiracy.
Yeah,
then you add in a 4th guy. Now they've got like
now you're taking
the mob is involved, and they've immediately added in 2 more guys.
Yeah.
So Hershey Green, he's the name of the taxi driver. All right.
Sure.
Green agrees to run over Malloy for $150.
I'll run over him for $150.
I'll reverse for $200. You get the second one at a discount.
Reverse for $200, and then I do a third one for $225.
But I'm not driving you over the turnpike, all right? I'm paying the tolls. But
wait, so was that the mafia's idea?
Yeah. Well, their initial mafia idea was, what if we just whack him? And then after the brain trust got together, the 3 of them were like, let's drive him over with a car.
Yeah, they really were. The Godfather gave them too much credit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
What if we wore suits and had cool little rituals and stuff? Well, that's much better than just
driving guys over.
So, right, they get a fake ID with the name Nicholas Mallory.
More money. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, they're like, at this point, we're going to make $8 each.
Yeah. Well, they've already got 2 more guys in the payroll, And a third guy, I mean, he's only getting 150
taxi
payoff.
fee,
Taxi fares,
license.
Yeah, like it's it's
Now the
spiraling.
mafia know about your speakeasy, so you're probably playing protection.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right.
They hadn't thought of that
Hey,
yet.
by the way,
though. That
we're
only
getting
came
a
after
little
the
money to
Godfather.
not shut this place down. Fuck.
Would you care for a shot of alcohol instead? But
No.
no. So they get a fake ID for the name Nicholas Malloy, which is the fake name that's on the insurance, and they put it in his pocket. And they bring him to a quiet street in the Bronx after he's drunk and try to run him down. So two of the guys are holding him by his arms, like he's bollocks.
Like,
Green-
full on, like no more risks being taken.
Yeah, they're just stretching him
But
out.
They're holding him up like they're going to punch him, but instead of
Yeah,
that,
just
they're
drive a
gonna
car
do it.
into him.
And it's like, as far as witnesses go, like the whole,
Oh, yeah.
the whole way of just kind of no trace, no
Yeah.
like evidence
They've-
that is gone. They're now just like, it's just attrition. They're just
Yeah.
like that. We need to.
They're like every day they're just hemorrhaging. It's money they don't have because they're banking on the insurance policy coming out. They're fucked. But so they try. So Green, he's revving up the car.
I
Right?
want to see him play Family Feud. Like, what's the? Give me How to Kill a Man.
Yeah.
Drive a bus into him. They
Make himself drink himself to death.
No.
Metal fish sandwiches.
well,
Put it on the board.
so Green.
Let's lock that in.
Green's revving up the taxi, right? He drives towards the three of them, two men holding Malloy in the middle. The two men jump either side at the last minute, and Green misses Malloy twice. So
Crazy.
he's so drunk, but yeah, he still has the wherewithal to like get out of the way of the car. But the third time, right?
It's
they
like a
get him.
wasted matador.
Yeah, it's just instinct.
Fellas, look out! This taxi's gone wild.
Lads, have I ever told you I can dance?
Stay there. God damn it, stay there.
Now, so they get him the third time, right? Third time's the charm. Green hits him. He's driving about 30 miles an hour. They knock him over. He goes into the gutter. And they're about to check the body when another car is coming by and spooks them, so they all run away, leaving Malloy for dead. Now, the next day, the gang, who it must be, I think we're up to 7 people now involved in this. They all gather the next morning to figure out the next step of the plan. They're searching through newspapers for talk of a hit and run. They get Murphy to start calling around the hospitals and morgues because he was pretending to be this guy's brother. Being like, oh, be gosh and be gosh.
Hey, last night my friend drank a bunch of antifreeze, wood grain alcohol, ate some shrapnel sardines, some poisoned oysters, was freezing, and got hit by a cab. Has anyone brought in anyone like that?
No, but there's an Irish guy here who's fine.
That's him. God damn it.
Yeah.
Are you looking for Nicholas Malloy? Yeah, fuck.
He just keeps drinking all the alcohol cleaning wipes, and we can't get rid of the guy.
He put a straw in the IV and slurped it.
But so he's calling around. This goes on for days, and the guys are trying. The plan's screwed without this because they don't have a body, so they can't claim the insurance. But someone comes up with the idea: why not just kill someone who looks like Malloy, who's pretending to be Malloy, and then use that as the body for the fake name?
Perfect.
Brilliant.
First time they've really had their heads on a swivel.
There's been a lot of, half-ass and messing around up until this point. It's good to see the boys knuckle down and come up with something real. So they start hitting up all the speakeasies, and they find one in Harlem that has a man by the name of Patrick Murray, who looks the spitting image of Malloy. Bulb of him. So they cozy up to him, they start buying him pints, and they bring him back to Marino's speakeasy to get him drunk. So this time they don't
These sandwiches are horrible.
They don't no more messing around with the. Maybe it's because tough guy Tony Baloney is in on it now. He's like, none of this fucking oyster, none of this giving him shots nonsense. Straight to plan D or whatever it was. They get him drunk and they bring him down to the Bronx bowling alley. They set up the taxi again. They're holding him up. Green drives into him. He goes flying. But the same thing happens again. A car comes along and spooks him, so they run away without the body, which is insane.
But wait, he's actually dead.
Well, they're both dead as far as they know, but they've lost both the bodies.
Yeah.
But why not just go back after the car's gone?
Man, Malloy's coming back strong.
He's just been hit by a car. Come on, pull your head out of the fantasy world.
He's taken worse.
So
I feel like he's a punch drunk for like 40-year-old former fighter. Like he used to be a heavyweight champ. He's like, old 2 times Tony Malloy. He'll be fine. He'll never get knocked out. But it was a car. It was actually a car.
The car's totaled. What the fuck? How the fuck?
Yeah, we should have done that as plan A.
yeah. Well, so
yeah,
now the boys are all back at the bar. They're freaking out. They're pulling their hair out. They've killed 2 men and they've nothing to show for it. But mid meltdown, who should walk into the bar? It's old Iron Mike, and boy, has he got a thirst on him.
Lads, this is the worst hangover I've ever had. My head is banging.
Boy, am I having a month.
Boy. Surely the only good thing in my life is this bar. If I didn't have it, I don't know what I'd do.
Oh, I tell you,
If I
you're
didn't
my
have this
rock.
bar, I'd probably kill myself.
You would? We're shutting. We're shutting down. Go.
This is the only thing keeping me alive. But
You
again,
have 3 days to do it. Do it in 3 days.
He's coming back to his safe space and he's telling his best friends this crazy story of like, again, he doesn't remember how it happened. He just woke up in a gutter 5 days ago with a headache and a bad shoulder.
I don't know. You fellas are nice to give me bottomless poos, but I don't know if it's a good idea.
But he never. So a cop finds him and brings him to hospital, where he's got a fractured skull, fractured shoulder, and a concussion.
Fractured skull.
But they let him go after like 5 days. They're like, well, he seems to be taking care of himself. Off, send him out into the world. And he goes straight back to the bar. But it turns out when Murphy was calling around for them, they hadn't found them because they were using the wrong name, which again doesn't make any sense because they're using the fake name that was on the ID when he died. But that's not the name he'd say if he was alive.
Yeah. No, but if they had an ID on him in his wallet, he would have been dead. They'd find the fake ID.
If he ringing the morgue, sure, but ringing the hospital to be like, is there a guy who's going by the fake name that we made up for him and didn't tell him about? They're not the smartest bunch. But Malloy, he goes back to the one consistent in his life, Mr. Marino, good man, Mr. Marino, and his free pints. So the gang, we're now up to Tony Marino, the owner. There's Joseph Red Murphy, the barman. Francis Pasquaz, the undertaker who set up the plan. You got Hershey Green, the taxi driver. Daniel Kreisberg, who's just hanging around, I guess, but he's in it from the start. You got now tough guy Tony Bistroni and Joey Maglione. Like this is getting out of hand.
It's a big group because I've realized what's happened now is it gets this big. These men aren't there to try and kill. They went there initially to try and kill a man for money. Yeah. They realised they're staying around for the male companionship.
Yeah. It's become a sport for them.
It's a weekly event.
Yeah.
Down the speakeasy. Come on. We're all going to try and kill Malloy again.
Yeah.
Who's Malloy playing this week? The Cavs.
But now, they need to put this thing to bed. All right. So for the next great idea, the boys are renting an apartment. And it's got a gas stove.
How much is the apartment? Listen, we're all going to make 35 cents each. We have to Airbnb now?
Yeah. At some point, you're in it for the love of the game, all right? This is an amateur run.
Yeah, you truly. At this point, this is just to see. This is a science expedition.
Yeah. But, so they take it out under Malloy's fake name, Nicholas Melroy. And on February 23rd, 1933, after Malloy passed out for the night, the gang takes him to the apartment in the Bronx, puts the hose in his mouth, connects it to the gas, and turns it on. So they've been working on this since July.
And he just inflates like a balloon and floats. You boys aren't going to believe what's happened tonight.
Boy, do I need a drink. He starts puffing on the pipe.
These pints are awful gassy.
I've got a bad case of gas.
But it took so long from July to basically March to kill a man who was on death's door.
That is crazy.
Yeah. But so this is where, I guess this is going back to the initial plan. This is where they thought they would be probably 5 months ago. But Pasquale, he's an undertaker, so he's got connections that he can rush the burial with. He pays off a dodgy doctor called Frank Manzella, who's another man now to add to the list of people who know about this. He signs the death certificate listing Malloy's cause of death as pneumonia, basically, but brought about by alcoholism. And Malloy is buried on February 24th. a day after he's dead. And another day after that, on February 25th, they walk into the insurance office.
I'm sorry, who are you? We were here 5 months ago. Our brother, our friend, is finally passed on. Jesus Christ, that's not a nightmare.
He died 2 days ago. We buried him yesterday, and we're here for the money. If we do things quickly in the family.
Yeah.
So they get the first check for $800 from Metropolitan. But then when they go to collect the second and third insurance payouts from Credential, they ask Pasqua for the body. He says, we don't have it because we buried it yesterday, which they see as a bit of an issue. So that raises a flag, and they don't.
And
get
then Malloy walks in behind him, and he's like, "Whose body are you looking for?"
What are you doing here? Well, of course, I have an insurance policy here. I said that I paid it out to the bar if anything should ever happen to me.
When should we go to the secret spot for some not booze? Jesus Christ. He's got like holes in his stomach.
It's been a rough week for Malloy.
Boy.
So, what now is the big payoff? The two original, like Marino and Pascal, they're laughing. They split the $800. That's $400 each for the people at home, keeping check. Well, that's before they've got to take out expenses for, the taxi driver for his $150. The money to pay Tony Bastroni. They got to pay off the doctor. They got to pay Murphy. The rent in the apartment. The 5 or 6 months of alcohol. All of the payments on the insurance policies. But after that,
all
there's enough left. They buy a suit each. Now they're laughing.
And they couldn't even wear it at the funeral.
No.
Right.
We're going to save the bar. Step 1, get suits. Step 2.
It's pretty much it.
That's all we got. So now there's arguments about the remaining money. And you hate to see it. Friends turned against each other, become enemies. Tough Tony gets in an argument with Joseph Maglione about the remaining cash. And Maglione shoots him to death. At which point the rest of them are probably like, that would have been a good idea.
That was very fast.
We should have done that. It was
it's called a gun?
When you said kill him by shot, I thought you meant like whiskey.
We misunderstood. It
was my face red. And it's not just from all these fumes I've been inhaling. But now you got a dead man, Maglione. The cops come over and they arrest Tony Bastroni and they arrest Murphy the barman, who's also like involved in the shooting. Well, I don't know. They arrest him as a witness, which I'm not really sure is how witnesses work, but
sure.
Now there's too much police activity around the bar, as well as the insurance investigators from the second place Credential looking into this claim. And it seems like the whole bar knew about the plan because they keep bringing more and more people in, and I think everyone's just talking about it. How would you not talk about it? Like, it's a great story.
Could be a good way to drive up business.
It could be.
Yeah.
Let's go down to the bar where they're always trying to kill that Irish guy.
Yeah.
Well, it's like an all you can eat. If you eat the whole steak, you get it for free. It's like, do you want it? We'll try and kill you, but you will drink and eat for free until we do. It's a good deal. So right, they're asking around the bar, and a man called John McNally starts to talk. He tells them where Malloy is buried, and he tells them the whole story of Mike the Durable, which is another of his names, I guess. And in May of 1933, they go dig up his body and do a proper autopsy this time.
And he's in there and he's just like, boy, I've had quite a nap.
Oh boy, I tell you, it was rough down there in that coffin. It wasn't even polished or nothing. As a professional.
I thought you boys had left me for a while.
Oh, I won't mind passing on to the great beyond. The only thing that got a sad tear in my eye was the thought of leaving my 6 best friends in the world behind.
And
Another
might I
toast.
say, those are some nice suits. Where'd you get them?
What? This is something they didn't think the people of the 1930s would be able to do because, we're like 3 months after the body's buried. Apparently, like carbon monoxide poisoning, it changes your blood in your whatever it was. They were able to say that it was monoxide poisoning and not alcoholism/pneumonia as the death certificate had listed it. So the boys all get arrested. Tony Maroney, Franz Pasqua, Daniel Kreisberg, they're all charged, and Hershey Green are charged with murder. The trial begins in October of 1933, and the press are loving it. they call the gang the Murder Trust, which is a good name. The San Antonio Light has a headline. I say it's a headline, but it's basically this is the whole. So the main headline says, "New York's most fantastic murder," which, you know,
Nice.
if I'd been, I don't want to be called fantastic necessarily.
Terrific.
What one hell of a murder, boys. And then sub headlines. This is all in the headline. 5 times the ghoulish plotters tried to kill the homeless bum, Michael Malloy, whose life they had insured, but he survived every deadly scheme until they put a gas tube in his mouth and held him until he died.
I can't wait to read this article.
Yeah, that's the whole. Firstly, it's the whole article. Secondly, don't call me a homeless bum if I'm dead. Like, don't.
You're
Little bit
not,
of
you're not meant to speak
That's
ill of
tough
the
for
dead.
the.
yeah.
It's also tough for the news. He's like, extra, extra. Bum Mike Malloy tried to get killed 5 times over until they eventually put a gas tube in his mouth and he passed away.
Yeah, like, why would you bother reading the story? I just got it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, all right, good to know.
But yeah, the news is just on a loop reading out this paragraph. It was also called, in one newspaper anyway, The Case of the Man Who Wouldn't Be Murdered, which is a little... It's a bit... I mean, I feel like there's somewhere in between those two where you could get a better title.
Yeah.
So the trial wraps up in about 3 weeks.
I was pretty happy with Burke and Hair of the dog.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yep.
I guess it does. But so Green, the taxi driver, he flips on the other guys, and with his cooperation, the trial's over in about 3 weeks. Dr. Manzella, the guy who faked the death search, he gets done as an accessory after the fact. Green, he goes to Sing Sing for felonious assault because of his cooperation, and the rest of them all get sentenced to death, get electrocuted in the big chair.
Oh, they're going to make them drink
Wait.
themselves to death.
Yeah, I was just going to say, give them sardine sandwiches.
And they're all done after one day.
Yeah, well, this feels more like a Stephen. Yeah. One oyster, they're gone. It feels like a Stephen King ending that they'd all be strapped into different electrical chairs, and then Malloy is in the chamber watching them all go down with one last toast.
Oh, my best friends are gone.
So that's it. That's the story of Iron Mike, the durable barfly, Malloy the mighty, the Irish Rasputin, or simply the Juggernaut. There's a lot of nicknames built up for him, but I found I listened to a couple of sources about this, and like it was funny. People kept having the same questions. They're like, why would Malloy keep going back to the pub when all these terrible things kept happening to him? And I think that a lot of people missed the mark of like how attractive a free bar is to an Irishman. That's just that it never even entered my mind. It was like, what am I frozen? Am I getting hit by cars? Am I waking up in hospital?
Yeah, I mean,
It's a free drink.
A free drink during Prohibition? I mean, fuck.
If I needed a drink before I got hit by a car, of course I'm going to need 2 drinks afterwards. You know?
Dude, I was in Vietnam or somewhere a few years ago, and the bar had like or it was Lao, because it had like Laotian vodka and Lao whiskey, and it's just like paint stripper, but it was free for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I got to go try it. And then I got there. It's like, oh, they're selling the cans of Coca-Cola for $1 each. I'm like, that's how they get you. I'm going to walk to the supermarket and sneak in some Coca-Cola.
I used to have a buddy who, if you bought him a shot of anything, he would have it. A drink, you could be like, I'm going to put tequila in like a Guinness. And he'd be like, ooh, okay. Like free booze really is a powerful...
that is true.
It's really.
I assume it's
quite
how
a
all of
lure.
those like the Irish car bomb or whatever. That's how they all came about. That someone said this is a bet.
Yeah.
This wasn't meant to be a good thing.
People
I'm trying to
like,
think.
another round of these for my men.
What sort of racially insensitive name could we come up with for a tequila Guinness mix? We can knock out the Irish and Mexico in one go.
Yeah.
But Gareth,
Yeah.
thank you very much for coming on. And
Oh, thank you. It was like
Having
it
a
truly
time?
is one of my favorite dollops. So it's great to revisit it, and
yeah,
he's the best. You
He's-
can't
he's
say
one of-
enough good stuff about Iron Mike.
yeah, one of our greatest exports. But yeah, you are going to be
truly.
in Dublin soon on what was it, the 17th of
Yes,
September?
drinking for free.
Yes, yeah.
17th of September at the Sugar Club.
Yes, which is a great venue in Dublin. So, yeah, we'll
Yeah,
post.
so you can go to my website is GarethReynolds.com if you want to join me, and there are seats available. Believe me.
We'll stick the link in the description of this episode, and
Oh, great!
yeah.
Lovely. Congratulations on your hero, Mike Malloy.
Yes. Hey,
Yes.
listen,
It's great to meet him.
These are truly. If you
How great would it be
noticed,
if he just walked in behind you right now? I just heard you were podcasting about me. Jesus Christ, he's 100 years old.
It's why
The price of drink gone.
It's why Ireland was so shit in the 30s and 40s. It was because Malloy was in America. If he had been here,
Yeah.
global superpower.
We have a habit of taking the world's best. We steal them. We did it with Nazis. We did it with Malloy.
Sure, send us your hungry, you're broken, you're tired, you're rampant alcoholics.
You're wood grained oystered.
Yeah, you're Nazi scientists. Yeah. It's beautiful. Although, well, this is when you're over in Ireland, you might see. You've been here before. Maybe you saw Harp the drink.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think it's big enough. It's like a big export drink.
Yeah, it's definitely a Irish bar staple here too.
Yeah,
probably
it's
not as good, but yeah,
it's not as common here anymore. But it was brewed in my hometown, and I found out like recently enough that during Operation Paperclip or whatever, when America was taking the Nazi scientists to work in NASA, we were taking Nazi scientists to make Harp. So this guy is like, his name is on his name's Hermann Munder, I think. And they poached him from post-World War II Germany and brought him over to Dundalk to like help.
He was like, what are you trying to do? Build a rocket? Submarine?
Yeah.
This beer, we're close.
We're almost there. We need to beat the
We're
Russians.
close. Yeah, we gotta beat the Ruskies.
It's an arms race.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how we can hold more than two.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard this story before, and then I found all these newspaper articles from like the local paper, and it was just him, like everyone in the giant group shots with him in the middle, and everyone was like, well, he might have a bit of a checkered past, but old Herman's as Irish as pints of Guinness. He's I think the whole thing was like, he's not English, so it's fine. That was their attitude in the 70s.
Yeah, right. Well,
Yeah.
I want to see Cillian Murphy play him.
that still holds up a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about the ramifications for the world. If we don't make it, someone else will.
Just because we can doesn't mean we should. Fuck. Well, I appreciate y'all having me on.
No problem. It was a pleasure. Yeah, I've been listening to you guys for years, and
Pleasure.
yeah, we've it's great to get to chat to you. But
I'm sorry for all the technical difficulties earlier on.
That's true. Jason was at a wedding yesterday.
I didn't notice. Oh, that explains a lot.
Best man speech.
Nailed
Yeah.
it. But,
That explains even more. Fuck.
Yeah.
I did.
Listen,
Appreciate it.
thanks a million.
All right,
Great
cheers,
to
man.
meet you. And yeah, good luck. Cheers.
All right, guys. Likewise. Yeah.
Chapter.
All right.